Hi guys, today we are making squishy number 4, and like with squishy number 1 we are starting with a big piece of foam, and this is like memory foam which we're going to chop up into 16 pieces. So these blocks were 4 inches by 4 inches. Now because we were cutting them at home, they're not perfectly sized, so you'll see now how we smooth them out. And now here are the squishy blocks. I've got the same tools as last time, some nail art pens and some wooden spatulas to spread the 3D puffy paint. I've also got this set which has a mixture of 3D puffy colours. Now when I bought this, I had absolutely no idea how much puffy paint you need. So I'm going to show you this set anyway because I think it's quite a nice one if you're making smaller cubes. It's got lots of bright colours in it, and you also get some brushes included too. And they come in squeezy bottles so you can do some nice designs, do some writing, things like that, like you can when you get tulip paints. I think I paid about £15 for all these colours, so it's not bad value because a tulip puffy paint, a small bottle, is usually about £2 just for one. Okay, so here's our 4 cubes, and I've tried to match them up so the sides are kind of even as they can be, so that it's easier later on. And I'm emptying out all of the fabric paint, the green. There's no way that's going to be enough, which is why I'm mixing up all the different shades of green that I could get in the kit. I think there's 3 or 4 greens. So mixing them up with the spatula. And because I know that I'm going to be doing about 3 coats, I'm not too worried about the first couple of coats and the shade of green that they are. I'm just trying to get out as much product as possible. I'm just scraping out more of that from the bottom. You can also mix up fabric paint with regular acrylic paint too, so it goes a bit further, because puffy paint and fabric paint can be quite expensive. So I'm just sticking the cube onto a paper plate so it doesn't go everywhere, and I'm just going to start spreading this on. This is layer number 1. Whoops, dropped it everywhere. And I'm using the spatula, and this is quite a deep shade of green. I'm doing a thin first coat, and you do have to do the first coats. And you're really pressing the paint into the foam so that it will squish nicely when it's finally done. See how quickly the product disappears. So I'm mixing up here now some green and some adding some yellow in there too, just to make it go a bit further. Now the first thing I noticed about this fabric paint, because this is all the one that I got from Amazon, was it was a little bit on the crispy side. So yeah, not too keen on that. But now I'm mixing some acrylic paint. And with a beautiful kind of lime green shade as well. And giving that a good mix together. And then I'm squirting this stuff in, which is called fabric medium, and it turns it into a fabric paint, so it's nice and squishy, so it doesn't go too hard. I will also link to that in the description box. And the good thing about that is that you can turn any kind of paint, like any kind of acrylic paint, into a fabric paint. And there you go, I'm just adding the next coat. I really like this shade again. This is a lighter shade, and I think it looks more like Numberblock 4 already. And giving that a good squish. I can see the squishiness is still pretty good. And now I'm doing, yes, it's another coat, and this time I'm using an acrylic paint, shade 43. Now I absolutely love that shade of green. And I'm also mixing it with some acrylic slick paint, which is like, it's kind of a fabric puffy paint. It's not puffy like puffy, but it still is a little bit 3D. So now I'm mixing up these colours because this is going to be my final coat, so I want to make sure it's the perfect shade of green. So that's the beautiful bright opaque acrylic paint. Mix with some of the puffy paint to make it, keep it nice and soft. And then I'm also going to put some of that fabric medium I was telling you about in there too, even though I'm putting acrylic slick in. And it's just to make sure it's nice and soft and it doesn't go too crispy. I should have put this in a bigger pot, guys. Don't do it in such a small pot because it's just dying to fall over the sides. I should have thought of that, but never mind. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's a really nice shade of green. One thing I noticed is that when green dries, it does tend to dry darker, so it's alright to use a lighter bright green. And finally, after like 9 million days, my cubes are dry, so I'm actually trying to stick them together using fabric glue. So first those sides squish together, and then I have to squish the other two sides. These blocks are not particularly evenly cut, okay? So next time what I would do is I would try and get the blocks as even as possible because it saves you time later on. And I'm just squishing these together, and remember to give it at least 24 hours to dry properly. Okay, and when we are finally completely dry, the paint and the glue, we can start adding some details. And number 4 is my favourite to do, I have to say. So this time I'm using some more tulip puffy paint and some of the matte paint too. And using the dark foresty green, I'm just going to trace number 4's mouth. I'm also going to trace the eyes, which are squares. And the eyebrows, which are 2 blocks on either side. And then going to use the white puffy paint to make the teeth and also the whites of the eyes on both sides. And then using a little spatula thing, I'm just going to spread out the colour to make sure it looks really good and even. And then we also filled in some of the cracks using more paint, and then it's ready for a final squish. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.